to the inside. Move around the outside. Much deeper. Nearly spins. Side by side here. The wins on his second outing. Then Hoop spins.
Yo, what's good everyone? Welcome back. And today we got round 4 for tier 8. The first sprint race of the season. And it's one-shot qualifying. We're heading straight into it. This is going to be a very, very interesting one. Obviously, much more points on the board today for these guys to win. How do you think it's going to go? Bossman.
Well, you know, Spa's a long track. You know, it's got a lot of corners, a lot of places where you can mess up, but also a lot of overtaking opportunities. Obviously, Melon has been fast the last couple races, so I would expect nothing less from Melon than P1.
Yeah, obviously he's got about a 7-point lead in the championship over Antonio Brancati. See, right now he's leading the charge in this one-shot qualifying session. And that's his teammate, though, Leon Mascan. He is out.
It's not a great start from Ferrari as Darren just joined this session. Tavian through Puon. Ferrari looking good. He's up on Lucas Hendricks, Lucas Stevens, followed by Justin and Antonio. Lucas Hendricks goes to the top. So the Williams right now on path to take provisional pole. It's oh so close at the top. Justin up to third, Lucas Stevens fourth as they head through Blanchimont. Just turned 17 here at Spa-Francorchamps. Last couple corners into the chicane. Octavian's got a little bit of an advantage through the chicane. Can he stay on provisional pole? Antonio vaults himself up the board, up to the line. Melon on pole.
Yeah, very good one-shot qualifying there. Keeping it on the track, but also on the limit. And he's going to start first for the sprint race. Lucas Hendrick not far behind, though. Less than a 10th in it between them.
Justin third, Antonio fourth, Lucas Stevens fifth. The top 5 all covered by just over 0.3 of a second. See Strahinja Zoranovic down there in 11th, Derwin in 12th, Eliasson there with no time as well, and then Jebatarov was DSQ'd along with his teammate Dallin McTeer. Thomas Vink also DSQ'd, so you got a lot of fast guys coming up from the back.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a great qualifying for Luco. You know, hasn't scored points yet in this season. And P5 is going to be very, very decent for him.
Absolutely. You know, the sprint race is so important here because, you know, it sets the grid for the start. You know, you can obviously pick up a lot of positions into turn 1, La Sauce, but the main overtaking opportunities are down the Kemmel Straight into Le Combs and into the chicane after Blanchimont. So you know, it'll be qualifying is crucial here in Spa.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see, because I'm sure most of the guys will go very, very low on wings on this track. You know, stating as the straights are also important.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering where the graphic is. Let me hit a quick refresh on it. So it pops up. There you go. Everybody on the mediums, it looks like.
Well, it's only an 8-lap sprint race. You know, the main race is only 22 laps. Obviously, if you can make the mediums last 8 laps, it'll be fantastic. You know, there you might see a little bit of contact into turn 1. Some people having to pit. Maybe they can go on to the softs. I think we're just outside of soft range. I think the softs will last about maybe 5 to 7 laps.
Yeah, I mean, probably not ideal. Probably even less laps, as this is a very, very long track.
Yeah.
The longest on the calendar, so... Yeah, you see the driver standings at the moment. There's also leading the field, and Brancati close behind. The sprint's going to be an important one when it comes to the championship.
Absolutely. You know, it's a 7-point gap from Brancati to Octavian. We look at the constructors' standings, obviously, Octavian, the only driver to score points for Ferrari. So Alfa Romeo leads by 14 points, with Red Bull only 6 points back of Ferrari. But going back to your point about how long this track is, it's actually longer than Formula One regulations allow. So if they couldn't build this track in the modern day because it'd be too long for F1.
Yeah. And with all the news that's going on, they're not... Well, it looks like they're not trying too hard to keep it on the calendar, it seems, but I think we are going to get it for 2024, if I'm correct.
I hope so. You know, this is such a historically significant racetrack. I hope it'll stay on the calendar for many years to come.
Williams lining up 2-3 on the grid here, so not bad.
No, Williams qualified well, and we saw that last week in Monaco as well with Lucas and Janssen up near the top. Brancati sitting 4th, Stevens sitting 5th. But Williams seems to really be kind of the dominant team in terms of qualifying pace so far, not necessarily race pace though. We get ready to head to 5 red lights. Lights out. And we are underway here in Spa. Lucas Hendricks got a great start on the outside. He'll challenge Octavian through turn number 1. The Ferrari gets a much better entry and exit as they go 2 and 3 wide back there. Into a Rouge. They're 2 wide. That's Gabriel Rico on the inside of Stevens. Rico will get the position, and now Clark passed his teammate. He's also got Grabietti trying to get by him, as Lucas Hendrick goes to the outside of Octavian into Lecombs. Can't get the move done. He tried a little slow in, fast out. The Williams unable to find a way around the Ferrari so far. But Lucas Hendrick sitting second. He's got his teammate behind him. We've got a yellow flag towards the back. That's Strahinja Zoranovic who's out. Chebatarov into the wall. Dallin McTeer. Something happened to him as well, as we have a virtual safety car.
Yeah, it's all kicked off there at the beginning. Zoranovic out. Chebatarov into the wall. McTeer, he's down in P16. I'm not sure what's happened to him, but we see positions gained there. Lucas Stevens losing 5 positions. And Zoranovic down 7. Leon Mascando from last, he went up to P15.
Absolutely. You know, Lucas Stevens tried to go side by side with Gabriel Rico into a Rouge. And it really cost him a bunch of time at the top of the hill at the exit of Radion. So, you know, that he's got a fast machine. Let's see if he can climb his way back up through the field.
As we have now a green flag. The virtual safety car period is over. And Usha's got a pretty decent gap there. He's built from Lucas.
Brancati sitting in 4th. He's right in the tire tracks of Jensen as they exit La Source. Eliasson runs a little bit wide at the exit of turn 1. That allows Verhoeven to get by. Everybody kind of stacked up behind Thomas Vink sitting in 12th. Got a little bit of a train here with Eliasson, Mascant, and McTeer. We watch from Justin Jensen. The leaders ahead, that's Lucas Hendricks and Octavian Ursu. Lucas right in the tire tracks of Octavian as we watch Verhoeven through Malmendi. Justin's out. Something's happened to Justin.
He's in the wall. He's lost that No Name.
That is the exit of No Name. He's backed it into the wall. And our second virtual safety car.
Man, he was running P3 there. That was just an unnecessary mistake. But at least he's pretty much going to get a second lifeline, as this is the sprint race, not the full race. But still, unforced error there from the Williams driver.
He is gonna have a tough time climbing back up through the field. He's starting he'll start down in 17th. The race is 22 laps, so it's quite a long circuit. A lot of overtaking opportunities. Obviously, if you get a good start, you can maybe get some guys into turn 1 as Thomas Vink right behind Darren.
Oh, there's a huge crash up ahead! That's a Haas, that's a Mercedes, and that's an AlphaTauri who've crashed there. Unbelievable, it's all kicked off. That's Cameron Clark who's gone down the order. Gravietz, I think, was involved, or Max Housley. And that huge accident just jumbled up the order completely. Gravietz up to P5. What on earth has just happened there?
It looks like Ben Shop was also involved. He's in the pits down in 13th as we watch Darren up the hill through Radion. Thomas Vink right in the tire tracks of the Aston Martin. Down the Kimmel straight. The Red Bull tried to look to the inside. He'll look to the outside into Les Combes. And the Aston Martin just slammed the door in his face. And that Red Bull's going to have to ride behind him a little bit longer before he'll be able to overtake him.
Yeah, after that accident, Darren's now up into the points. And Philip Benchop there, who was the AlphaTauri, he had to pull into the pit, so he's 20 seconds behind.
Not a great start for the AlphaTauri boys down in 10th and 13th. Not a terrible start. You've got one guy in the top 10, but you'd love to have both guys in the top 10s as Darren right now sitting in 8th. He's picked up 4 positions off the start. We were on lap number 3. Thomas Vink right in the tire tracks of the Aston Martin. Into Blanchimont. The Red Bull looks to the inside. Now the outside. Side by side through Blanchimont. He just squeezed him out. The Aston Martin doing a fantastic job of defending. As Octavian Ursu, now Lucas Hendricks sets the fastest lap of the race. That Williams has got a little bit of pace in it. 5 laps to go as we ride on board with Leon Mascant right behind this battle of Verhoeven, Thomas Vink, and Darren. Verhoeven started 17th. He's up to 10th. The AlphaTauri climbing up the order quickly. We watch Thomas Vink. He'll dart to the inside, now the outside, down the Kimmel straight. Can he get the move done this time? They'll be side by side into Les Combes. It looks like the Aston Martin just slammed the door on him once more through turn 6. And the Red Bull having no luck trying to get around Darren for 8th.
Yeah, and he's going to get the help of DRS now, Thomas Vink. That might make his overtake a little bit easier when he comes to Kimmel straight next time around. You know, obviously the only part of the circuit which has DRS. Oh, and the start-finish straight, let's not forget.
That Red Bull's right on the rear wing of the Aston Martin. Through turns 14 and 15. That's Campus and Stavelot. The Red Bull trying to find any way around. He'll go to the outside through Blanchimont. The Aston Martin just squeezing him into the grass. It looks like Thomas Vink was forced off the track a little bit, but he'll have the inside for the chicane. Can the Red Bull get around the Aston Martin? No, he can't. Oh, and he's been spun.
There's contact from
That was
behind
Verhoeven on
yeah.
That was Verhoeven on the exit. It looked like Vink was going to try and cross over Darren, and he just didn't have any idea where Verhoeven was on the exit of the chicane.
Unfortunate. Thomas Vink was setting up that overtake, and Verhoeven just wasn't having none of it.
This has allowed Moskent to climb all the way up to 9th. He started 18th. A wonderful job from the Ferrari. 5 laps. He's up to 9th. It'll be interesting to see how he performs in the race. Up front, his teammate leads by 2.5 seconds over Lucas Hendricks. That Ferrari is just so fast.
Yeah, he's pulled 3 seconds in the meantime. And the last lap, also 1.2 seconds faster. There must have been a huge mistake there. In the middle sector, it lost 7 tenths. That's just not what you expect. The Haas boys right now running 5 and 6.
Absolutely, the Haas drivers are running well so far. Gravietzi and Max Husley.
Yeah, that's going to be good points in the championship. They're currently level on points with Alpine, who are way down the order.
Alpine did not get they didn't have a great qualifying with Chebatarov or McTeer. I believe they both had contact on lap 1, which is why they both came in for the soft tires. We got Leon Moskent trying to reel in Darren through La Source. Ferrari will have DRS down the Kimmel straight. He's got an Alpha Tauri behind him. He picks up a little bit of time through Radion. Aston Martin might have gotten a little bit loose through the corner. He's got DRS using a little bit of ERS. Moskent's not close enough into Lecombs. But the Ferrari right in the tire tracks of the Aston Martin. Gabriel Rico got around Max Husley for 5th. He now sets his sights on Gravietz. But it looks like Max Husley's not going to let him by so easily through No Name. They both got a fantastic exit. Max Husley just trying to keep with the Red Bull of Gabriel Rico, but it looks like Rico got a great run through Pouan, and maybe the Red Bull is starting to run away from Max Husley to try and chase down his teammate.
Yeah, while we were watching Moskent there trying to chase down the final points position in P8, Grabietz got around Rico. He got ahead of him. So up into P4 for the Haas driver. Very well done indeed. And his teammate Max Husley trying to follow through.
Max Husley through Blanchimont as Moskent gets overtaken by Verhoeven. Verhoeven up the inside in Blanchimont. The Alpha Tauri on the move as he now sets sail for Darren in 8th, the final points paying position. Max Husley right on the rear wing of the Red Bull through La Source. The Haas will have DRS, as does Gabriel Rico. Watch Darren now. Max Husley trying to chase down Gabriel Rico through Radion. He'll have DRS down the Kimmel straight. Max Husley to the inside, down the Kimmel straight. He doesn't need the corner to get the move done. The Haas up into 5th, and Gabriel Rico sliding a little bit, down to 6th.
And Gabriel Rico there picked up a 3-second time penalty, and that's going to hurt his position there. It's going to put him down to, at the moment, it's P8 it looks like.
It does put him down a little bit. I believe P8 is correct, although with Verhoeven starting to chase down Darren. It might
Danger.
slip him down to P9. Although it looks like Darren's starting to fall back from Stevens a little bit. Aston Martin sitting in 8th. It's been a good run so far. Very solidly in 8th.
You didn't see nothing.
No, I did not see anything. As Brancati's closed in a little bit to Lucas Hendricks. Can the Alfa Romeo get around the Williams to start on the front row? Obviously, you start on the outside of the front row here in Spa, so you've got it's a little tough to get around the pole sitter. But if you get a great start, we saw Octavian didn't get a great start. As Brancati's closed in on Lucas Hendricks, he'll go to the outside, down the Kimmel straight, into Les Combs, and the Williams slams the door through Les Combs, and that forces Brancati to back off a little bit.
Yeah, very nice defense from Hendrick there, keeping him behind. And what could have been nasty, a collision. These guys have kept it clean through Lecombe there, so good job.
We've seen that several times though. These guys trying to go side by side into Les Combs, and the guy on the inside just kind of goes a little bit deep on the brakes, I guess, into turn 5, and kind of slams the door into turn 6.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it works. If it works, it works. Oh, Gravy has picked up a 4-second time penalty. A 3-second time penalty, so sorry. And yeah, that's going to mix things up. House is going to go up to P4 because of that. And I'm wondering where that's going to put Gravy. It looks like P7 maybe for now. We'll see.
Darren back there also got a 3-second time penalty, so that should move Moscount up to 8th. As Octavian Ursu across the line, he will comfortably win the sprint race here in Spa. Lucas Hendricks comes home 2nd. Brancati 3rd. Grabietz down to 6th at this point. Gabriel Rico did have a time penalty, so the Haas will not slide all the way down to 7th, but Moscount up to 8th.
Last, and started last and managed to get into the points there. Great job from the Ferrari driver picking up his first points. And Lucas Stevens, he picked up his first points as well in P5. Great job from him.
Yeah, it was a great run from the Mercedes. Well, it was a great run from the Mercedes guys, Clark and Stevens. I believe it was Stevens that was shuffled back at the start. So he recovered nicely back to 5th. But all around a great race so far.
That is the sprint race done. And Octavian also pole position for the upcoming 50% race.
So with Octavian on pole, do you kind of back up the theory that he'll run away with this one so far?
Yeah, well, it's going to be an interesting one. Obviously, strategy very important on this track because of track position, and if virtual safety cars or safety cars come into play, it can really mix things up. But it's looking good for him. It's looking good for him, we can say.
Justin and Strahina Zoranovic start down in 17th and 18th. We know they've got fast cars. They were in the top 10 in qualifying. They'll have a little bit of work to do to get into the points here for the main feature race.
Now, I'm expecting most of them to start on the hards here. Obviously, we've seen some people make mediums, starting on the mediums work. But yeah, I'm 90% sure they're gonna go for the hards.
Well, with the amount of contact we saw in that opening of the sprint race, I wouldn't be shocked if people went onto the mediums, um, just because they assumed there'd be a safety car or a virtual safety car. We saw a lot of cars get together at the beginning of the sprint race, so the strategy could be interesting.
Absolutely. We're going to see what these guys are going to decide to pick quite shortly. I'm wondering if they're going to implement that new sort of sprint format into next year's game. I mean, they said they're going to try it at Baku this year, right? The new sprint format?
I don't know. I haven't heard about the new sprint format.
Yeah. I think they're going to mix things up, doing a sort of a qualifying on the Friday for the sprint, and then yeah, to be honest, I can't really remember it, but I know there's a new format, so or something of the kind.
Well, looks like Octavian's on the hards. So at least the pole sitter will start on the hards. We didn't expect much else. Darren down there starting on the mediums. Ben Shop, Clark, Zoranovich all on the mediums. So not a ton of guys on the mediums.
Yeah, the entire top 10 on the hard tire. Darren down the mediums, trying to mix it up in P11. And honestly, I don't mind that from those guys that are a little further back. They need to try something. Not much to lose when you're starting down there. So
absolutely, it's like trying the undercut. You're a little bit farther back. You gotta maybe get onto the fresh tires a little bit early. Try and make something happen.
Yep, and let's see if Ursu can keep up that domination. Obviously, Hendrik now, he started second for the sprint too. I'm thinking he might try and be a little bit more aggressive on the start. Obviously, he's seen how dominant he can be if he lets Ursu get away early.
Absolutely, Lucas tried the outside in turn number 1. He tried to just hang it around the outside, and the Ferrari kind of squeezed him out a little bit. And then the Ferrari just kind of took off. I mean, he's got an absolute rocket ship under him, as he always does. The guys at the Prancing Horse Shop have done a fantastic job with this car, as always. We get ready to go here in Spa. The car's just coming through Blanchimont. Octavian kind of out in front of this pack. Lucas Hendrik slowing the rest of the pack up. Maybe playing a little bit of strategy. Hoping that Octavian's tires get a little bit cooler. As the cars begin to grid up. Octavian will have the... Lucas Hendrik into the wall.
That's not how you're meant to line up to the grid spot.
No, it is not. No, it's not. Brancati disqualified for going over his grid spot. Octavian will have the inside into turn number 1, which is not something we normally see in Formula 1 as we get ready to go to 5 red lights. Lights out, and we are underway here in Spa. Lucas Hendrik didn't get as great a start. He'll dive to the inside in turn number 1. Side by side they go. He'll force Octavian off. Octavian comes back on. They'll stay side by side as Max Husley picked up a couple positions off the start. Lucas Hendrik squeezes the Ferrari out, and he's got the top spot through Radion. Octavian Ursu now trying to fight back around the outside down the Kimmel Straight. Wheel to wheel they go. Lucas Hendricks will squeeze him out as Max Husley into the battle. He'll take the inside line on the Ferrari Octavian squeezed way out wide, almost into the gravel. It looks like Housley might have gotten the move done, but the Ferrari hanging strong around the outside. Leon Mascant, his teammate, picking up 2 spots off the start. Gabriel Rico also picking up a couple spots off the start.
Man,
It's
what a
all-
start. Hendricks got him off the line. Housley nearly had a piece of him too. And that is absolutely not Mascant. They're up 6 positions. You see, they're battling here for P12. Cameron Clark and Eliasson, just like Cameron Clark, just gets the best of him there.
A fantastic battles up and down the grid. You see Darren gained 2 spots. Clark picked up 4 spots off the start. But as they run, Lucas Hendricks the leader, Octavian Ursu second, Max Housley running third, Brancati fourth, and Stevens down in 5th. Grabietzi in 7th. Darren got around Gabriel Rico. Rico now under pressure from his teammate Thomas Vink in 10th. The Red Bulls will go side by side down the main straightaway. It looks like Vink got the position, but he ran into the back of the Aston Martin through turn number 1.
Yeah,
It's almost like
it's
almost like he outbroke himself and just flat out ran into the back of him. It'll be interesting to see if he has any damage. Run down the Kimmel straight. Gabriel Rico's closed in a little bit on Darren. Octavian's off. P2, that Ferrari ran wide through the comms. That's allowed Max Housley to close up a little bit. Cameron Clark around in Les Combs. That drops him all the way to the back of the field.
Yeah, and so it looks like also might have just gone deep there into Les Combs, and it's lost him a little bit of time.
Absolutely. Clark had a great run going. He picked up 4 or 5 spots off the start. Leon Mascant off the track. That's at the exit of Pouon. He drops all the way down to 13th, and he goes around again. A little bit of contact maybe with one of the Alpines, I think it was. And the Ferrari not having a great day so far.
Yeah, he just went off the track at Pouon, and then when he went to come back onto the circuit, he's collided with someone there.
Jensen down in 15th. He picked up 2 positions off the start. In Eliasson down in 14th. Octavian Ursu trading fastest laps with Lucas Hendricks. As for Hoven, right behind this Red Bull train of Rico and Vink in 8th and 9th. The Ferraris closed in a little bit on the Williams as they head through Eau Rouge, through Radion.
Going into Lecombe there, Hendricks defending the inside, doing what he did in the sprint against Brancati and holding on to the lead. We see Housley there, he got overtaken by Brancati. Into Lecombe. Brancati up into P3 and the podium, first podium position. Oh, there's yellow flags. Oh, Hendricks gone off. Hendricks gone off. Just before Pouon, he's dropped down to P7. I'm wondering, was there contact between him and the Ferrari? Unfortunate for the Williams driver. He was leading the race. And then down he drops to P8. So unfortunate. We've got more yellow flags. And that's for Chebatarov. That's on Chebatarov. He's lost it into Stavilo. What is going on right now? There's oil on the track or something.
Lots of cars going around so far. Verhoeven right now sitting in 10th, right behind Thomas Vink. Lucas Hendricks into the pits, as you would expect, as Octavian Ursu the leader. Brancati in second. He's 9/10 of a second behind the Alfa Romeos. We've got a yellow flag in sector number 1. That's turn 1. Lucas Hendricks is retired.
If you, I mean, that is just the classic rage moment. He just left on lap 4 of the race. I mean, it is what it is. Just didn't feel like it anymore. Here comes Jansen, yeah.
Yeah, Eliasson and Jansen, they battle through Les Combes. The Williams tried to get around the McLaren, couldn't get around the outside. Benchop a little bit wide in front of him as as Verhoeven right on the back of Thomas Vink through No Name. Now through Pouon. The Red Bull had a much better entry and exit through Pouon, and he'll scoot away by a car length or 2 as the Alpha Tauri closed in a ton through Piff Path. Sounds like a fake corner name, but it is entirely real, as the Alpha Tauri tried to close in a little bit. We've got a yellow flag. That's Benchop that's around.
A lot of yellow flags here today. Are you feeling good, Mossman? Are you doing alright?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, just checking.
Darren all the way up to 5th. He's picked up 5 spots off the start. He's now trying to chase down Stevens right in the tire tracks of the Silver Arrow as we go back to this Verhoeven-Thomas Vink battle. Dallin McTeer has entered the fray. He's just a 10th of a second behind these two. Thomas Vink scooted away a tiny bit down the straightaway. Verhoeven a little bit of oversteer on the exit. He'll have DRS down the Kimmel straight. The Alpha Tauri just not close enough to make a move into Les Combes. But he did certainly close in the gap a little bit as Jansen and Eliasson run side by side through Les Combes. The McLaren on the inside, he'll force Jansen off the track. And Eliasson will defend 11th well.
Yeah, and one step closer to the points goes Eliasson. Getting his elbows out there. Meanwhile though, Darren up to P4. He's used those mediums pretty well. 5 laps from P11 to P4. Not a bad feat indeed.
Absolutely. We thought an alternate strategy might work here. We talked about it a little bit in the pre-race. But so far it's worked wonders for Darren. Not so much for the rest of these guys, but Thomas Vink has an Alpha Tauri breathing down his neck. Into the chicane there you can see the air temp and the track temp. 64 degrees is the air temp, 81 degrees the track temp. As Darren fastest lap of the race, so looks like the Aston Martin's got a little bit of pace on it.
Yeah, he's doing good. He needs to maximize this medium stint as much as possible. And further up ahead, Brancati needs to try and stick with Octavian. Make sure he doesn't leave his DRS, because that could spell the end of the race as it is.
Well, the gap is hovering. I can't tell quite what it is.
7:10 sounds more realistic.
Yes, as Benchop has retired from the race. Clark into the pits. He might also retire from the race. Stevens down in 5th. Currently the only silver arrow in the points. Clark down in 15th. Stevens is closed in a little bit on Darren. Darren needs to make hay while the sun shines. He's got a 1.7 second gap to Max Hoosley running 3rd. Hoosley kind of breathing down the neck of Brancati, so the top 3 all covered by a blanket, really.
Yeah, and they're slowly leaving what looks like Darren's dropping a little bit in pace as the medium starts to wear away. Those front 3 could just fly away in this Grand Prix.
Thomas Vink still sitting in 8th, still with an Alpha Tauri breathing down his neck. Verhoeven's a little bit closer this time. Let's see if he tries the outside in the chicane. He considered the outside. Thomas Vink covered it off well. Dallin McTeer right at the back of this battle. Elias Sun soon will join the battle along with Jensen. The Alpha Tauri had DRS down the main straightaway. Not close enough. The main straightaway really isn't that long. DRS really isn't that effective, but let's see if he can make a move at the top of Radion through a Rouge. Now Radion Verhoeven closed in, maybe by a car length or two. He'll have DRS down the Kimmel straight. Is the Alpha Tauri close enough? No, he's not.
Yeah, just can't get close enough to try and make a move. Verhoeven, you see, he's got a 3-second time penalty. Brancati's picked up a 3-second time penalty too. Grabietz, Rico, I've got ones themselves, so... And look, he's trying to find a space there, and it's just closing. Right in front of him, there's a little bit of contact through No Name.
The Alpha Tauri just got into the back of the Red Bull a tiny bit as we ride on board with Dallin McTeer. He's got a perfect view of this battle. The Alpine's starting to close in on the Alpha Tauri. I think he'll let these two ahead battle a little bit as they went NASCAR style through No Name. A little bit of bump drafting. The Alpha Tauri not close enough so far, but he'll have a great slipstream down this straight right here. Maybe he can get him at the exit of Blanchimont. You can see Dallin McTeer on the ERS button. He's closed in on Verhoeven. Verhoeven now has to deal with Dallin McTeer. McTeer still on the ERS button. He'll dive to the inside in the chicane. He's a little bit late on the brakes, and there's contact. He ran into the Alpha Tauri. The Alpha Tauri, I guess, tried to go into the pits.
Yeah, he tried to go into the pits, and then he just came across.
What a disappointing end to that battle. That truly was a great battle as Grabietz has closed in on Stevens. They both have DRS. Grabietz can't really close this gap down the Kimmel straight. Looks like, Stevens got way loose into the comms that allowed the Haas to get right by him. That was quite an overtake by the Haas. He runs a little bit wide. That's going to allow the Mercedes to fight back. He'll be on the outside of No Name, keeping it clean so far. Side by side they go. The Haas just got by the Silver Arrow, and now Grabietz will try and set sail for Darren, still on those medium tires. Stevens closed in a tiny bit on the Haas, but the Haas will just scoot away by a car length or two through campus.
Yeah, a little bit of wheel banging through there. Tough to race side by side, but they've just about managed.
Grabietz currently 5th. Go back to the rear of Thomas Vink. He's got Janssen and Eliasson right behind him. He started 10th. He's now 8th. A solid run for the Red Bull. He's in the points, paying positions. As Janssen just behind him, there you can see his tire performance. Not bad so far. 8-lap old hard tires. You gotta figure he's gonna probably pit about lap 12 or so. So we should expect Darren in here within the next lap or two. He started on those mediums. He's got a great run going. He's fallen way behind Max Husley. Got Leon Mascan trying to recover from his earlier spin in Puon right behind Chebatarov, who we really haven't talked about at all today. Ukrainian not having a great run here in Spa, just kind of in his own race at the moment is Gabriel Rico in 7th.
There's about 3 groups of 3 right now.
Yes.
You've got the front 3. You've got Darren, Grabietz, and Stevens. And Darren right now, he's got to be, wondering, what's his tires looking like? They're quite old, 60% right now. He's going to start to lose quite a lot of grip. And probably this or in the next 2 laps, you're going to see him jump into the pit lane. Question is, how much time is Gravet's going to lose staying behind?
Well, we can't see Graviet's tire performance right now, but Graviet's still on these hard tires. We know Darren's going to come in. He'll strap on a fresh set of hard tires. I think he might be able to pick up a little bit of time on the Haas and some of the guys in front, but really, I mean, a fresh set of hard tires and an old set of hard tires, I mean, there's not a ton of performance difference. He did just run the fastest lap of the race again.
Yeah, so he is on 60%, but he ain't feeling the 60%. He's still got some performance in those tires, it looks like.
He does have a little bit of performance in these tires, but Graviet's closed in a little bit through Radion. He's going to have a great run down the Kimmel straight. The Haas to the outside into Les Combs. It'd be wise for the Aston Martin to let him by, and he did. Darren lost a little bit of time as Verhoeven the fastest lap of the race. Dallin McTeer now the fastest lap of the race. Darren lost a little bit of time once Graviet's shut the door on him through Les Combs. That's gonna allow Stevens to close in a little bit. Stevens didn't get a great run through No Name. A little bit of counter steer was required. The Mercedes, he's closed in a little bit. Let's see if he can get around the Aston Martin, or if the Aston Martin's going to be forced to pit.
And we can expect even some of the hard runners boxing at this time too. So it's going to be interesting. Keep an eye on the lead pack. See what decisions these guys are making.
Octavian Ursu is scooted away a little bit. Gap up to 2.2 seconds. The Ferrari running well as through the shadows as the sun has begun to come out here in Spa. Stevens up the inside of Darren, and Darren into the pits. He'll put on a fresh set of hard tires here with just about 11 or 12 laps to go. So it'll be interesting to see if the Aston Martin can pick up a little bit of time. He'll have the fresh tires. This is kind of an undercut. We expect the hard tire runners here to come in about 2 to 3 laps. Maybe a little bit of an undercut right now by Darren, although he will be on the slower compound for the second half of this race.
He is in clear air though, so that could help him on this out lap. Obviously, he's on the hards. He's got that much more strenuous tire warm-up to do.
Absolutely, but as you said, he's got 7 seconds to Leon Mascant ahead in 10th. Mascant still does have to come in, but the Aston Martin should be able to pick up a little bit of time, maybe put in some qualifying laps, see if he can't elevate himself into a podium position, maybe.
Yeah, and Gabriel Rico, he's caught up to Lucas Stevens in this triple in the middle of the pack. He was kind of running his own race with some guys a little bit too far behind and in front, but put some good laps in and managed to catch up, which is good.
I think Darren might have held Lucas Stevens up just a tiny bit as the leader is in. Octavian Ursu will come in. He'll put on a fresh set of medium tires. Brancati also into the pits. Max Husley will stay out. Will Gravietz come in, though, is the question. He does not. So it's an American 1-2 here in Spa. The American teams at the top of the grid. Gabriel Rico into the pits. Janssen into the pits. Eliasson into the pits. Mascant into the pits. Jabatarov will stay out. See how well Darren does. Oh, he lost out to Gabriel Rico.
He's got a time warm up to do, and he's going to be catching a lot, and he's going to get DRS coming down, up out of Radion, and now on the Kemmel straight. There you go, he's turning on the ERS. DRS is active too. Is he going to get ahead of Rico? It looks like he is. And not much you can do about it.
He got ahead of Rico, but Rico was about a second behind Max Husley and Grabietz. So the Aston Martin may not have played this to perfection. He maybe should have pitted a lap earlier. We'll have to see. Grabietz, Husley, and Stevens still yet to come in. They are the leaders. Octavian Ursu running 4th, Brancati 5th, Chebatarov in 6th. Darren down in 7th as we watch Grabietz through Korb Paul Ferfa.
I don't think we should even attempt that one. But what the Husk guys going to do? I mean, I don't think they're far enough apart to double stack here. Matt Kusley is going to jump in. Grabietz, he's probably going to have to stay another lap here, unless he's going to try and tempt the double stack. Yeah, they are going for it. How much time are these guys going to lose, though? Or how much time is Grabietz going to lose?
I'm not sure. It might work. As you see Stevens into the pits behind him. Here comes Husley. Puts on the mediums and he's away.
He's had to stop. Yeah, he's lost a little bit of time. And Stevens jumped him.
Stevens jumped him, so he did lose a little bit of time. Darren is going to get around both of these guys on the exit. And and now he's not that far behind Max Husley. He can't be a ton behind Max Husley. I have to see on track, but
he is a ton behind him.
He is a ton behind Max Husley, but the Aston Martin playing this to perfection. He's up into 5th. Chebatarov still has to pit. But Darren, on these hard tires, he's going to have to defend very, very well against Gabriel, Rico, Stevens, and Grabietz behind. But Darren up to 4th right now, or provisionally.
He's got some good pace on this hard. Obviously, Gabriel Rico, he might have been worried there for a second that he would have lost time being behind a hard runner. But he's managed to come out ahead of Stevens and Grabietz.
I think he really only has to survive about the next 3 to 4 laps. And then after that, I think the medium tires will kind of equalize. Max Husley working on Chebatarov as they enter Blanchimont, the Haas right on the rear wing of the Alpine. He'll go to the inside now. He'll go to the outside through the chicane. He looked to the outside through the chicane. Chebatarov still on those hard tires. Chebatarov into the pits. It slowed Max Husley up a little bit. Octavian Ursu, the fastest lap of the race, a 1:45.1. He's scooted away a tiny bit from Brancati. And Darren is 4th, so he started 10th. He's running 4th. It's a fantastic run so far from the Aston Martin.
Yeah, not bad at all.
That pit stop will drop Chebatarov down to 12th with his teammate. As we watch Gabriel Rico, he'll have to go to the outside down the Kimmel straight. He does go to the outside with the help of DRS. Darren will force him off a little bit. He was able to make... Oh, Darren's around. Darren's around at the entry to Les Combes. And it's all gone up in flames. Oh, he almost got into Thomas Vink through the second half of Les Combes, but not an unfortunate incident for the Aston Martin.
Yeah, they just had a bit of contact there coming through Les Combes. I think Rico, they did leave enough room. So, not much probably that could be said about that one.
I would agree. I think it looked like Rico left enough room on the inside. And Darren just got a little bit on the curb, and the back end came around on him as we watch Eliasson trying to chase down Justin Janssen for 7th. Janssen's had a great recovery run. He started towards the back. I believe he was 17th or 18th off the start, but the Williams has recovered nicely up to 7th.
Yeah, these guys were flying each other in the first stint as well. Now they find themselves in the points with all that's gone on.
Darren's into the pits. Oh, and he's retired, so
Yeah, well, interesting. He wasn't the
maybe
points, but whatever.
maybe a little bit of suspension damage
Yeah,
for
true.
the Aston Martin. Stevens is closed in on Grabietz just a tiny bit. Grabietz scoots away a little bit, maybe by a car length or two through Les Combes. He's got about a 5 car length advantage over the Mercedes.
Yeah, and I'm hearing now from the Williams garage that Lucas Hendrick, he had red rear wing damage, so he'd broken his rear wing, and that's pretty much session done for you if that happens.
Absolutely. You know, you can't run around with rear wing damage. It'll really hurt your downforce, especially down the Kimmel Straight and through some of the slower corners. I guess the faster corners. You'll have a little bit less downforce as we watch Thomas Vink. He's closed in on this battle with Janssen and Eliasson just a little bit. Eliasson still unable to overtake Janssen. Thomas Vink running 8th, his teammate running 4th. He was half a second faster than Eliasson on the last lap. He gained a car length or two through Blanchimont. Let's see if this Red Bull can get by the McLaren. Eliasson got a little bit better exit. Thomas Vink a little bit squirrely under power. He's got almost no ERS left. That certainly does not work out in his favor.
And draining it here, trying to get some kind of momentum going through Rouge, now Radillon, and down the Kemmel Straight. Can he catch Lucas Eliasson? He's going to the outside. Is there a space for him? Can he find it? Thomas Vink, he's going for it down the inside into Les Combes, and Lucas did not want a piece of that.
He was way late on the brakes into Les Combes, and the Red Bull moves himself up into 8th as he begins to stalk the Williams in front of Justin Jensen. Jensen in 7th. Jensen's got about a 4 or 5 second gap to Lucas Stevens in front, so I doubt if Thomas Vink were able to get around the Williams, he'd catch up to Lucas Stevens without the help of a safety car. Leon Maskin, a 3-second time penalty. Maskin's worked himself up into 10th, so a good recovery drive from the Ferrari.
Yeah, now he's got a 3-second time penalty. He's risking losing out on points with Sabatarov close behind. Thomas Vink now going to have a go at Janssen.
He's closed into the gearbox of the Williams as they run through the chicane. He'll have DRS down this main straightaway. He hasn't really recovered his ERS. They're still low on the ERS. Janssen might have a little bit of an advantage there as they run through La Source. The Red Bull picking up a little bit of slipstream through Eau Rouge. Up to the top of the hill through Radillon. Thomas Vink has scooted away from Eliasson in 9th. Thomas Vink with the DRS. He'll sweep to the inside of Justin Janssen. And the Red Bull is through.
And behind there is Leon Mascon and Chabatarov fighting. And Chabatarov's got him through Les Combes up to P10 and secure with Mascon's 3-second time penalty. Chabatarov recovering 2 points here in the spot. Oh my god, that is a huge moment for Mascon, nearly losing it under traction.
Well, Chabatarov was one of the last guys to pit, so he has way fresher medium tires than a lot of these cars. We watch Stevens running in 6th behind Grabietz and Gabriel Rico. This group of 3 separated by, I guess, about a second and a half, maybe 2 seconds. Silver Arrow's done well today. Not well enough to get himself into the top 5, though, as Thomas Vink has kind of run away from Justin Jensen. He's almost at a DRS range. It's about 0.8 of a second, the gap. We've got 5 laps to go here in Spa.
Yeah, and Urso is way out in front. Just done everything he's had to so far. Obviously, Hendrik was ahead of him at the beginning, then just made a mistake, but Urso kept it on track. He's done what he's had to, racing like a true champion right now.
Absolutely, he's the defending Tier A champion, and he certainly looks like it right now. Brancati will fall a further 7 points back provisionally in the championship. It'll drop him about 13 points behind Ursu. He gained a ton of points after Octavian had the unfortunate incident in Monaco.
And he's going to gain a little bit more in Miami too, because Ursu has a back of the grid penalty. So that's going to be very interesting to see how Octavian's going to work his way through the field.
So with Miami, I believe Miami's up next, correct?
Yeah.
We come to, I suppose Miami would be my home race.
The land of the free.
Well, Miami more so than Coda is my home race.
Yeah, closer.
Yes, it's pretty easy to be closer to Miami than Austin, Texas. Austin is way far away, as Grabietz has closed in on Gabriel Rico the last couple laps. So Casper Grabietz trying to vault himself up into 4th and give Haas a 3-4, which would be huge for him. Max Husley's obviously run well this season. Grabietz, I believe, he ran okay at Monaco. They'll have DRS down the Kimmel Straight, a ton of slipstream. Gabriel Rico's really going to have to defend the Haas to the outside. He's got him into Les Combes. So it is a Haas 3-4 here in Spa.
Yeah, these guys are obviously running the same race. Both of them have a 3-second time penalty. And Lucas Stevens, he's quite close behind, so he's going to inherit that 4th position from these guys if he can stick with them in these final 3 laps.
We've seen how fast Grabietz can be if he can just run away from Gabriel Rico a little bit, get out of DRS range. He might be able to go chase down his teammate Max Husley. It's only, I believe, 1.5 seconds here with 3 laps to go in Spa. But up front, it's Octavian Ursu, a 7.1 second lead. That Ferrari is just wicked fast.
Yeah, not much it looks like could be done today to reel him in, to stop him. Just had way better pace, was just the fastest man on track there today.
Absolutely. 3 laps to go here in Spa. Gabriel Rico sitting behind Grabietz as Eliasson across the line to make it 3 laps to go in his race. He's right behind Justin Jensen for 8th. Thomas Vink just up the road in 7th. Thomas Vink has kind of run away from these guys a little bit.
Yeah, once he overtook them, he kind of just escaped off into the distance. The Janssen out of DRS there. And McTeer took the fastest lap and went into the pits to call it a day.
Not a great day from the Alpine guys. Currently 10th and 12th. I mean, the last couple races we've seen them pretty close to the top or at the top. So certainly a little bit of a disappointing day for those guys, as Coach Gabriel Rico trying to reel in Grabietz. Grabietz he's closed in on Max Husley a little bit. Still, it was down to a second, I believe, earlier, which would put him in DRS range. Seems like it's gone back to 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, and the more Thomas Vink, let me see, what's his lap times looking like compared to Steven? So he is gaining on him. So Thomas Vink, if he can get into that 3-second range, it's going to be a difficult one. Not many laps left. He could see himself go up into a position or two, maybe.
It will certainly be a difficult one. I believe he's about 3 or 4 seconds behind Stevens. He's 4.2 back. But Stevens is closed in on Gabriel Rico now. Just 0.8 of a second separate the Silver Arrow and the Red Bull. He doesn't have to overtake Rico, as long as he can stay with Rico. You see Max Husley just up the road. Gabriel Rico's got DRS. He used a little bit of ERS. He'll go to the outside down the Kimmel straight. The Haas just tried to feint him a little bit. They'll go side by side through Les Combes. Maybe a tiny bit of contact. This is exactly what Stevens wants to see as Rico sweeps around the outside. And Gabriel Rico up into 4th.
Yeah, he's taken back 4th, which will be 5 after penalties, it looks like. And Thomas Vink closing it behind as these guys fight. They don't want to be fighting too much now. Grabietz will get DRS though the next time they come through the Kemmel straight. He's got to do his best to stick with him. They have both got low ERS, so that DRS is going to play even more of a factor.
The question is, what do you do if you're Stevens? Because you'll have DRS as well, but you really don't want to you don't want to overtake these guys, but you don't really want them to run away from you. So you kind of just gotta sit and be patient, which is it's a tall task for a race car driver to sit and be patient.
Yeah, I mean he will overtake both of them, not on track, but on race time. We'll see now as they come through to cross the line for the penultimate time, the final lap.
Grabietz has closed in a little bit on Gabriel Rico. He's reeled him in just a tiny bit as he's 8th gear down this straight through Eau Rouge. The Haas right on the rear wing of the Red Bull. He'll sweep to the outside down the Kimmel straight. He'll have DRS. He gets around the Red Bull quite easily. Now let's see if Gabriel Rico has any fight left in him as Stevens watches on from behind in 6th. Chebatarov with DRS. He's behind this battle of Janssen and Eliasson as they go side by side through Les Combes. Keeping it nice and clean. Janssen got way loose on the exit. Eliasson just into the back of the Williams. Janssen ran wide. Eliasson kind of tried to sneak underneath. He wasn't able to get the move done as Chebatarov watches from behind. Chebatarov trying to find a way around the McLaren. Eliasson's got mirrors full of Alpine as Gabriel Rico trying to chase down the Haas. He just got loose through that corner. And that will be all she wrote as Stevens closes in on the Red Bull. But Chebatarov right behind this battle. Eliasson's got mirrors full of Alpine as Octavian Arsu across the line. And the Ferrari will win in Spa. Brancati will come home 2nd. Max Husley comes home 3rd. As Chebatarov goes to the outside of Eliasson and he outbroke himself. He almost got around the McLaren, but he outbroke himself. He ran deep into the chicane. And that will cost him at least a position as he will finish. He will come home 10th. But Octavian Arsu claims victory in Spa in dominant fashion.
Yeah, adding another win to his tally and another 7 points on Brancati in the championship. Actually, another, because obviously we got included the sprint, so
yeah,
another
at 8.
9. points because Brancati was
8.
third, I believe. No, yeah, it was third in the sprint.
Yeah. So 9 points. That I believe puts him. May put him 15 behind or 16 behind.
Well, 7 plus 9, so 16. Yeah.
16. Yeah. Wasn't sure if he was 6 behind or 7 behind, but you can see the top 5: Octavian Ursu, Brancati, Max Husley, Lucas Stevens, and Kasper Grabietz comes home in 5th. A great run for those Haas guys, getting 2 cars in the top 5. Quite impressive.
Not bad at all.
The only team to do that, so they will. I assume they'll gain a little bit in the constructors' championship.
Oh yeah, I mean their closest rival was Alpine with level on points with them. They're definitely overtaken them there. And
Absolutely.
Red Bull were just in front by 6 points, and they've definitely well, it look. I would say they've gained that 6 points.
Yes, I think they have.
Well, we're gonna see who we're gonna interview today if we are gonna have it. Looks like no one wants to talk to us. Well, that's okay. Thank you everybody for watching so far. Tomorrow we've got the cup at Bahrain, so you don't want to miss that one out. Oh no, we've got Luca. There, we've got one. We've got one. Oh, we've got some. Okay, listen. I thought there was going to be no one. Give us a second, boys. Give us a second. Antonio Brancati P2 out there today. I mean, it was a difficult one, but honestly,
hello.
I think you've probably maximized it there. You there? Hello? The voices.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard you.
Okay, there you go.
Yes, starting off by quali, I was actually doing a very good lap until I just had a massive oversteer. And then I lost around 6 or 5 tenths to my lap, but I was happy that I got before, even with that big mistake. And then sprint, I actually had a good start, but I got blocked. So I stayed there waiting on the first laps, not even pushing. But then, quite a scary moment was when Justin just spun right in front of me, and I thought I was gonna end my race there, but I just avoided him by nothing. I don't know even how I avoided him, and then it was just gaining on Lucas up until the last lap. But I got side by side with him, but I thought there is like no need to risk for 1 point. So I just tried a move, then whatever, I just stayed behind him and I take P3, I don't even care. And then the race, I actually had the same pace as Melon, and I was quite happy up until I got the 3-second time penalty. So then I continued to push, but then as soon as I got 2 more warnings on the same lap, I was like, okay, no, I'm gonna settle for P2. And so I didn't even push anymore. I just stayed just cruising up, waiting up until the race had finished. So I knew even if I wasn't gonna push, I was gonna stay P2 because I had similar pace than Melon, and yeah, and then actually stayed there, didn't even push, and I was afraid of getting 6 seconds, but I didn't. So yeah, all good. I'm very happy for P2. I knew I was gonna finish P2. That was my goal, and yeah, at the moment I'm very happy with the season because Bahrain had the goal to finish P2, Monaco had the goal to finish P1, and here I had the goal to finish P2. So yeah, that's great for me. Congrats to Melanie. He drove such a great race. He's so fast, and yeah, I can't say anything that much to him. He knows he's very fast, and I have very big respect to him for him.
Yeah, and you head to Miami next week. Obviously, he's got the back of the grid penalty. Gonna
Yeah.
make things a little bit more difficult for him. What's your
Yeah.
thoughts going into that race?
P1, I hope. That's my goal. So let's see if I can complete my streak. And one more thing I want to say is that I already have more points than last season. So in 3 races than in 12. So I'm happy.
Yeah, very good job today, Antonio. We'll speak to you soon.
Love you. Bye bye.
Let's talk to our race winner, Octavian Ursu.
Oh,
Man,
hello.
that was domination again from you today. You're just the fastest guy. There's just nothing less that can be said.
What can you do? What can you do? Just talent.
I mean, there was a moment on the start that of the main race that is that you were
Yeah,
pipped by Lucas, and then you had to go off track. I mean, what's your thoughts on that one?
I mean, I got bumped into him and I couldn't have turned in more, so I had to take the runoff because otherwise I just would have been bitched on the curb. So that was my only problem. I had to, when I was fighting with him, like a couple of times he would just run me off of space, so I just had to back out. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, you did take the win. A win is a win.
A win is a win.
So yeah, and you can't be too mad about that one. Miami though, starting from the back, you got a bunch of
Best
positions
race
to
of the
make up.
season about to come up. Best race of the season about to come up. You're not ready for this.
Yeah, lost the first challenge or what?
With a bit of luck, hopefully we can do that. With a bit of luck.
Yeah, and obviously you gained quite a few points on Brancati then the championship, 16 now, and that's the championship lead. You got hope for the rest of the season. Think you can do it?
Sure, why not? I mean, if I did it last season coming back from 70 points, I can surely do it again.
Fair enough. Well done, Octavian, on the win today. We'll definitely be talking to you soon.
Thank you guys. See you.
And let's talk to Lucas Stevens. First points on the board. Let's go. Talk to us, man.
My first time doing this, but I am so happy with that result. Like, I was not expecting that. I was maybe expecting like P7, P6, maybe even P8, but that, I was not expecting that at all. So I'm pretty happy to get that.
Yeah, you stayed out of trouble. Yeah, you found your way through. Didn't get any penalties. You can't be too mad about that one, can you?
Oh yeah, I was expecting like me to get into a collision at least, but I was shocked at the end of the race that like it was all clean. I was very shocked. But yeah, good racing from Focus and Max Van. That was some good racing. Yeah, I enjoyed it very much.
And for first points of the board, P4 at the end. That's very, very decent indeed. I wonder, do you know what happened to your teammate Cameron there?
Oh, he had a terrible sprint, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'll get it back in the race." Yeah, and he was like, "Okay." He was well motivated to do it, so I was happy for him to do that. But then I'm pretty sure he got damage, and then he got a penalty, and then he just said, "Oh, I'm finished with this." Yeah, I couldn't be bothered, but I kept saying to him that he needed to continue because points could have been scavenged. But yeah, I'm not too sure. I need to talk to him about it. He just left. He just rage quit, I think. But I'll talk to him about it. I'll debrief it if you want me to.
Well, no, if that's up to you. It's your teammate.
Yeah,
so.
I know. I don't know. He might not even want to talk to me. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Thanks for the interview today, Luca. We'll talk to you soon. Very much.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, that about ends it for today's stream. Thank you everybody who watched, took part, who followed, and all the good stuff. Today is going to be goodbye from me. It's going to be goodbye from Bossman.
See ya.
See ya.